rock and roll and Elvis Presley and all the different ones that would have been a part of his life. I can picture Louie maybe going to drive-in movies. Kind of got the feeling that he might have been like we were a little bit. We snuck inside the trunk into a few drive-in movies too. And I don't know if Louie would have been the driver or if he would have been the sneaker, but I can picture a group of guys going to the drive-in movie. Drive-in restaurants where the waitress or the waiter would come out on roller skates to serve you as you order. I can picture transistor radios coming out, sock hops, greasy hair with grill cream and other kind of crazy stuff to put in your hair. And I remembered cigarettes rolled up in your sleeve. Now I understand that he kept them in his front pocket as an adult, but rolling them up in your sleeve was a pretty big deal. And cruising, because of course gas prices were a lot lower, and cruising up and down the main drag of town. After high school, he followed in his father's footsteps as an electrician and wired many of the buildings here in Monterey County. And on many trips with Paul and Noel up and down the valley, he would always ask, pointing at a traffic light or a shopping center, who wired that? And they knew the right answer. They knew it was him. A master electrician, wired many of the houses here in the Monterey Peninsula as well as commercial property. And then those last 16 years he spent with Paul and Carrie. And I think that's good that family can help out anytime. So I know that some of the things that his life created, as we mentioned, he passed on November 28th, which was Thanksgiving Day, after his final Thanksgiving dinner. The man understood timing. Get the last meal in. He was preceded in death by his parents, his sister Juanita and his sisters Juanita and Maureen, his daughter Nancy, survived by his sister LaDonna, son Paul, daughter-in-law Carrie, with whom he lived the last 16 years, Noel, daughter Noel, her husband Eric, Kelly and Ray, Will and Anna, son-in-law Brian Roberts, and many grandchildren, nieces, and nephews. And then I can picture like the Olympic symbol, the circles, the 5 circles, that I can picture that Louie had some circles of friends. I imagine there were some who were his friends because of the 49ers. And I wonder if the bad year they're having, if that didn't contribute to his demise. It was a bad year. There were such hopes at the start of the season. I can picture that there were his casino friends and the poker friends playing friends, and so that was a group. The dart players and all those different things that he did, and then of course family. And I like this as a son, and Paul's talked about, Dad was a very honest man. I never heard him tell a lie, and he taught me as a young boy to never steal as well as respect my elders. I kind of heard those same things, Paul. So we must have had, maybe your dad and my dad were twins, separated at birth. When Noel and Paul were young, he taught us to do for our neighbors and to help the elderly, which sticks with us to this day. There were 2 neighbors nearby, and apparently they were senior citizens, and Noel was I know that you can say she volunteered. She was volunteered by Dad to go and do the dishes, and Paul was volunteered to go and take out the trash and do other chores, cleaning their yards, things like that. And he loved his Winston cigarettes. Always had that T-shirt with 1 pocket in the front in order to make sure he didn't go without them. Enjoyed partaking in a drink or 3. Yeah. I like that. I thought first a typo. Then I thought, no, the way Paul, that's not a typo. At the Sportsman's Club or at the Shadow Box Bar, in the dart leagues for many years, and apparently he was pretty good at that. He could hit the target. So those are just a few of the things that I've either heard or learned about Louie. And we're going to have just a moment, and sometimes it's hard to talk in front of others just because that's the most common fear, but sometimes the emotions can kind of well up in us. But if you would like to just say a few words about Paul, maybe I'm about to...
Not yet.
About Louie, would you think about that? What you might attribute memory? Would you like to share anything with us today?
I'll share.
Yes, sir.
My name's Tom. Louie is my uncle. My fondest memory was with Uncle Louie. he's always going to be Uncle Louie to me. Uncle Louie was my brother Tim. I think Uncle Louie was like 19 or 20, and we were like 4 and 5. We were at Grandma Bryder's house on Carmel Avenue, and we were wrestling. He beat us down. But that's a memory that, it's a 55-year-old memory, maybe a little more. But from there was other memories of that house on Carmel Avenue. That's where I met Billy and Kelly and Aunt Diane. This is when Louie and Aunt Diane got married. So a lot of my cousins that lived in that house. Sandra was born there. So there's just a lot of memories that kind of fork off from that particular time. Yeah, so we got some extended families, and I can't go into the whole genealogy.
That's for the after.
Through the course of that, we got, my sister was married to Billy. It just goes on and on and on. But it was a good thing that happened. But that memory with Uncle Louie kicking my ass, my brother's ass, was a great memory. So that's what I got.
I'm sure they were needed to be kicked too, weren't they?
Yeah.
Thank you. That's a great start for us. Thank you. Anyone else? A family member? Yes.
I was Louie's stepdaughter, and I never considered being a stepdaughter. I was just his daughter, because I was, I think, 4 or 5 maybe was I when we got married, when Mom and Louie married. And so he pretty much raised me my whole life, and took me to like all the father-daughter type things for Girl Scouts and things like that. And then as an adult, I can't believe I was kind of selfish that when my husband and I got married, we decided to get married a week before Christmas with this huge wedding, and he did the whole wedding for us and gave me away and everything. So those are some really good memories of him.
That was a proud moment for him to walk you down the aisle. I thought that was. That's a great thank you. Yes.
I'm her brother. I'm Will, and Louie did a momentous thing. He married my mom, and he took in 3 little kids. And he put a roof over our head, and he raised us pretty much, because our father was gone for like 10 years or so. And Louie was electric, he was wired, and he taught us how to do chores and how to be respectful. And he took me and my mom to see the Oakland A's in the World Series. 72, 73, and 74.
Yep.
And he took me under his wing when I was probably 14 or 15 while he was doing his electrical work, and helped me learn how to be a worker and respect those around me.
So those life values that are so important. So important. What I'm just going to mention, I think Paul will give more details. I think there'll be a gathering time after the service, and it may be a lot easier. It'll be a lot easier to share then than it is here at this place. And so, if you've got a story, a memory, you'll be able to share it there, or even one-on-one, share with one of the kids. I think they'll need to hear what you have to say. So, before I share a brief message, just thought I'd say a prayer of thanking God for Louie's life and the lessons he taught and the skills he had and possessed, and I think the love he had in his heart. Father, I thank you for these that have gathered, and I thank you for Louie's life, Lord, and not a perfect man by any means, but a man that seemed to have values that make a difference. Lord, he must have been so frustrated to watch as younger generations come along and those values weren't being picked up and taught. And so thank you for what he taught and what he modeled. For the work that he did, the skills that he had. We're grateful. Father, just the kind of this sharing of he's wired and he's electric, of showing a great personality. And so we're very grateful for what he has meant in the lives of these. And so Father, help us for just a moment to think about a few things of spiritual encouragement. I pray this in Jesus' name. Now I brought something, and I told Robert I've never done this before in my life, so if it doesn't work, sorry, it's an idea. And what I did was I thought about Louie's life and his work as an electrician. Now, he had the title Master Electrician. Now, you don't get master until you go apprentice, journeyman, and then master. And I kind of thought probably here some of us are mastered in our spiritual lives. We've kind of got things wired, we got it figured out. But probably here, I'm guessing there are quite a few people that are still at the apprentice level. You say, I don't know how to pray, I don't know what to do. So let me try to help just a little bit. So I thought about what Louie's life and this master electrician was, and I thought about the importance of safety. I can picture that he would have talked a great deal about safety and would have worn the proper equipment, the hat and the commercial things, and the gloves, and probably the bright yellow jacket. Because I don't know, there's just something about this. These things say to me safety. And I wish I could tell you that life is safe. But in all honesty, there are times when life is not safe. We live in a fallen, broken world. And so somehow or another, we have to kind of, as apprentice, how do we kind of make sense of it? Accidents, injuries, violence. And so the world is not a safe place, but it's still a place I'd like to be because of people like you. I'd rather be here than on that island all by myself. I would rather be with people. And so that's something. Life is not necessarily very, very safe. Second thing I put in here is a back brace. I don't know what part of an electrician's body goes, but almost everybody the back goes. Bad backs, bad knees, bad elbows, bad hands, arthritis settles in, and life can take a toll on us. And so I let that be represented by this back brace. And from time to time I've worn it. I probably haven't earned it like he did, but life can sometimes be hard. Sometimes you carry a load, and it takes a toll on your emotional, spiritual, physical. So that'd be another part I put in here in my bucket. And then the last one is tool belt. Now I can picture that if Paul and Noel didn't put the tools back where they belonged, I bet somebody heard about it. You got to have a place. In a master craftsman, there's a place for every tool. And you take care of your tools, and I bet he knew everything where it went in his tool belt. Always had it. Knew what he needed: his screwdrivers, his lines of pliers, the dikes, all the different things that a circuit tester, all those things he would have had right there with him, so he could have properly done his job. And so that leads me to the encouragement for each of you spiritually, that I hope you have some tool in your box, in your tool belt, that is a spiritual help to you. And each one of us may be different. We may believe different things. But I do think each one of us needs some spiritual tools in life. Life has a spiritual side to it. It's not all money. It's not all fun. It's not all... there's got to be that spiritual side to life for us. And I hope that maybe even today it kind of reminds us that, even if I live a long life, life takes a toll. Life has some dangers, and I need some spiritual tools to make this work. And so let me just offer you this. For those of you, if you think like you're not even an apprentice yet, there would be people out there that would be glad to listen, maybe help you develop a few tools. I would be one of those. So if you are well experienced, be willing, like Louie would have. I don't know how many apprentices he took on the journey, and then be willing to take someone under your wing and help them know how to have some spiritual tools in their belt. And if you feel like you need that, reach out. You probably know some people here in this gathering that you know to be a people that have a spiritual side. You may want to ask them, hey, help me. Would you help me? I don't know how to do this. And of course, you might imagine as a pastor, I'm in church a lot. One of the things I noticed, the best prayer warriors are not the ones that pray the fancy prayers. They're the ones that pray the heart prayer. And in church life, you can hear the big flowery prayers. But what really matters is a prayer that comes from God. So you don't have to be great at it, but it's got to come from your heart. And so if I could give you anything today as I don't know that I'd call myself a master craftsman about spiritual things, but I got a little experience. And I would encourage you to find some tools that help you make sense of life help you in those dangerous times, help you in those times when life's taking a toll on him. I hope you have something in your belly that helps you those things. So I'm going to close this in prayer, and I think Paul wanted to share a little bit of instruction, some of that's going to be going on this following this. And I'm going to deputize you. If any of this family comes to your mind, I've learned in my tool belt that means that person needs to hear from somebody. So if they pop in your head, you just call. Yeah, we may be the same age. Yeah. Call them, talk to them, text them. Although I think sometimes when you're hurting, texting's okay. I think you need to hear the words. Get face to face. If someone's on your mind, God's wanting you to be the one. Well, Father, thank you for Louie's life. I thank you for those skills. I thank you for the tools that he had to do his job so well. We don't all have the same tools right now. We're facing something. As David said, we're in the shadow of the valley of death. We see it. It's very real. It's very much a part of us right now. We don't all have the tools to cope with this. But help us. Lead us to someone. Lead someone into our lives that might can help us, could guide us, strengthen us, support us. And I believe you also come far more than halfway. You come to us because you love us. And on this day, we give you thanks for that. Now I pray that the Lord would bless you and keep you. Would the Lord make his face to shine upon you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen. Amen. Paul, would you like to share what you want to do?
I'd like to thank everybody for coming today from far away and close. Most would know that my dad and I had a unique relationship, to say the least. But you know, every day, every night, I'm turning the light on outside in case it goes out to smoke, so we can see. You know, still checking on him or hearing him go down the hall with his walker. You know, you had go through your life, and I think life can somewhat be long, maybe sometimes short. But my dad was a solid dude. A lot of shortcomings, for sure. My mom's not here today. She's not healthy enough to be here, but good, bad, or indifferent, he was the love of her life. And many a time, growing up in a divorced family, it's very challenging and difficult to learn how to be a man and channel your feelings and emotions. There were often times when I was young that Dad wasn't there, but I can tell you he made up for it. And you know, I always didn't walk the straight and narrow path, and that second part of my life when, you know, life got really dangerous and I needed somebody to bail me out, I had my dad. And getting where I am today in my life, and you know, when being the only Northcutt boy, because he had all sisters, and you know, there might be some grandchildren. I always thought, I always had pressure in my mind. I had to carry on this Northcutt name. Your Bridlers and Sal Marys, and you know, so no pressure, Nash. But it's going to be your job to carry on this Northcutt name. I did my part, and I love my dad. He was an asshole. He was a genuine asshole, but he's my asshole, and I love him. And just grateful for the last 16, 18 years to have him in my home, and you know, to have my kids have a chance to get to know their grandfather, that they can form their own opinions. And we are all imperfect, but I tell you, for me, you know, God, through God's glory and the grace of the Lord, we always have more opportunity to change our story in life. We're going to get together at my sister's house on 1925 Highland. She's been living there for like 40 years. Ray. We'd love to have everybody over. Picked up some goodies. Maybe we can talk. And there's a lot of family that heck, we haven't seen each other in God knows how long together. We got an opportunity to extend my dad's life a little bit longer today. Today is his. So thank you all for coming out, and hopefully we'll see you there. Thank you. Thanks, Pastor.
When the darkness seems to reign, remind your heart it has a flame, and join the world to light and sing. Together we are strong. One by one we take our place to lift and love the human race. The power of love is just enough to sing this song. Together we are strong. Together we are strong. Together we